Welcome, bloodsuckers, to Be Kind to Your Neighbors, a narrative horror podcast set in the world of Vampire the Requiem. Due to adult language and violent nature of the stories told, this podcast is rated M for mature, and we strongly encourage listener discretion.
Episode 6. My Sweet Embraceable You.
We are entirely fucked. As a nation, as a species, as an undead species preying on that first species, the kindred have our rumors, our information wars, and even, as grimly as it sounds, our own heroes. We're selfish enough to consider ourselves on the literal edge of the apocalypse every century, and arrogant enough to whitewash that fear as gothic or charming. Most of us eventually are going to hear about the modern-day Count Dracula, the Worm King, Bloody Mary, Rasputin. Every clan claims him, by the way. He's awesome. That guy who caused Stephanie Myers to go into hiding in Canada, personal hero. Half the time it's exaggeration and rumor. Times are gone for honest men. Half the time, the worst stuff is left out for the safety of the listener. Murray's told me about some of the legendary kindred living in New York City today. The ones with the mansions left over from when 3/4 of Manhattan Island was just slave plantations and gardens. He said that the old prince, Calloway, once fought in the Civil War, and he made his fortune by ghouling members of Congress from Ulysses S. Grant through Nixon. I've met some of those kindred. I've met the ones who thrived during Prohibition, haunted the Underground Railroad, and fed off pilgrims with names like Chastity, Constance, and Prudence. I've also walked in on Murray masturbating to a VHS copy of Little Shop of Horrors when the plant is literally eating the lady in the wedding dress. Weird, empty, wonderful world we live in. Our enhancements come with the price of eternity, and eternity can wear down on your wits like ocean waves, smoothing out jagged cliff sides. The ones who keep their wits about them for hundreds of years, either chained to the horrific voices in their head under a sheet of black ice, or they take turns riding the saddle. The calm ones are the greatest monsters. Back in the old country, the one all the white people originally come from, the old horrors grow stronger with each translation, like how the Krampus got written out of Christmas so Coca-Cola could dress Santa in red and sell mind-controlling corn syrup to children. Kids today grow up thinking that Granny survived the Wicked Witch of the dark primordial forest, or the Great Recession, or the Holocaust. They want to think that the old world has rotted away across the ocean under a few generations of plastic and copper wires and Wi-Fi routers. The thing is, with the oldest horrors, they just rebrand themselves, baby. They only die with us, only to spread and adapt to infect the next psyche and the next generation of nightmares. Horror adapts. Ho, ho, ho. When Sidra first told me about the Volk Ubitsi, the wolf slayer of the crone, it was the first time she ever spoke more than a few sentences. She practically lit up, telling me about his travels west from Siberia, through the Silk Road, through most of Europe. By the end of the night, the apartment was covered in charcoal storyboards and sketches in case DreamWorks needed a pitch. The Volkubitsi, the werewolf slayer, he works through high-ranking kindred, binding their loyalty through Kurek blood magic and vinculum, feeding his blood into them. He doesn't make public appearances, even to hunt down werewolves anymore. The powerful ones, they never need to. When you've mastered a game, you start playing something on your own. You make up your own game, watching everyone else struggle to learn the rules from above. Even if someone were powerful enough to bring the Wolf Slayer to crimes against a city or against his own race, because we know he's diablerized, they'd have their work cut out for them. This man solos horrors from the old country. This man is a horror from the old country. Friday night, train tracks in Flushing, Queens. Elder just stepped out of a train that stopped on the tracks. I get ready to charge him. I stop the moment Murray mutters the words, Volk Ubitsky. The Nosferatu walking toward us is completely calm. Now, calm is scary, because calm is just bravado for the experienced. Murray yells something about getting away from the shadows. I'm too busy thinking about a place to run. I need to get distance from this. And then I realize I can't move my foot. Looking down, it's buried in darkness, and with a twist, it brings me down on my back, and I'm dragged across gravel and ancient crushed beer cans right to the foot of the wolf slayer. He looks down at me, reaching down with his normal, gloved hand. We both know I don't have a choice in the matter. But there's a flash of clatter, and Murray rushes the bastard from the side. The wolf slayer simply leans back nonchalantly and lashes out his shriveled hand, the one with the long black claws, like a goddamn praying mantis. It strikes Murray 2 knuckles deep into his skull and pins him to the side of the train. Murray struggles, kicking and flailing, and he slid up the side of the train compartment. There's a sick, sliding, crunching noise as Murray's head rakes an indentation into the metal. I suddenly don't feel like fighting anymore. Then there is a spark just above our heads, and suddenly, the wolf slayer's shoulders erupt in flames. He does the old fire bad beast spasm, and with that burst of light, there's no shadow to hold my foot anymore, and I roll back. From the top of the car, I see Stephanie, my brilliant, flexible Stephanie, throw down the bottom half of a broken bottle. It hits her target square in the face, and I suddenly smell diesel in the air, and the flames spread over his face. Sidra slinks out from beneath the wheels of the train and grabs my hand. She hisses at me to come. I see Steph kick the big bad wolf slayer back, and he responds by swinging Murray full over her head. The two of them use his sudden blindness to their advantage, shoving him and keeping him off balance while Steph feeds the fire with dry debris she picks up from the tracks. I've seen this tactic used before, though. Holy shit, I say. Stephanie's a hunter! Sidra says, no duh, as she tries to drag me away. But as I'm watching Stephanie and Murray go at the elder, it makes me remember my own motto. My friends, my city, my life, my fight. All the doors to the train are open, on both sides, and there's light coming from the other side of the tracks, westbound. And I have a really bad idea all of a sudden. Murray! I yell. Alley-oop, motherfucker! Back in the early 90s, tag teams were the kings of the WWF. My brother and I grew out of our bushwhacker phase the moment Shawn Michaels and Marty Jannetty entered the ring. Until their betrayal and drama, which we of course took seriously at the time, I wanted to be the pussy flypaper that was Shawn Michaels. We practiced in the backyard every day after school, the grapples, the flying tackles, and most importantly, the legendary drop kicks. Some of the best in the industry at the time. No one could dodge Shawn Michaels once he set his mind to it. Murray elbows the wolf slayer in the back, and he lurches forward. He's off his feet for a split second, the kind of split second I live in. I burn the blood and run through the still life of mid-air diesel drops combusting, sparkling ruby flecks of blood, and stunned faces. I jump, tuck in my legs, spin in midair, and launch. It's like kicking a concrete bridge pillar, but the bastard gives way. When real time returns, the Nosferatu flies through the car in time to catch the underside of the 1102 toward Penn Station. We all look at each other, each of our secrets laid bare. Sidra, the mole for the Circle of the Crone, ready to stain her hands with the blood of her own people for a chance at power. Murray, the Han Solo and Secret Princess Leia drag. Stephanie, the hunter who pretended to love me. Looks like I'm the only one stupid enough to clear out the skeletons in my closet. So, I say, Road trip to Montauk, anybody? Murray's first to nod. Stephanie's the first to sigh. Sidra's the first to roll her eyes. And, as always, I take the first step. We follow the tracks to Murray Hill Station and climb up to the street. The ceiling above the stairs is plastered with cobwebs over faded graffiti and flickering lights, all yellowed with age. Only fresh addition to the cacophony is a day-old mark that makes Murray and Sidra pause. Written in blood, and yes, we all know the difference between paint and blood, come on, give me some credit, people, is a V followed by 2 I's, the Roman numeral 7. You think it's just a rumor? Someone else trying to capitalize in on the chaos, I ask?
Nothing else this week has been hearsay, Devon,
he says. We reach the street, hoping to steal a car, when I notice the coffee shop across the street is pitch black. And I mean black. Not even the street light is passing the glass. Unresolved business. Against Sidra's urging, I approach the front window. I look into the eyes of my own reflection, and they light up a dim yellow. I take it you got what you wanted, right? You found Kadir, you were able to free the others like you? We cool? My reflection's eyes narrow, and it shrugs one shoulder. Look, we're about to bail, so we'll be out of your hair. But can you tell me where Kadir is now, or if she's still active? My reflection mouths, very near. You gonna leave me and my team alone? Or is there anything else that you want? My reflection mouths something I don't understand. Something. Carjack. The hell does carjack mean? The street light above us goes out. In the darkness of the front window, I see Stephanie's reflection snap her head back and double over. Murray grabs Sidra and pulls her away. No, not her! I scream. When Stephanie stands up straight again, her eyes are tainted with a hellish, faint yellow flicker. Black mist leaks out her mouth and puffs out her ears. Stephanie blinks and runs her hands over her body. She reaches into the shadows of the street and pulls out a massive clump of fabric. She dons the feather-topped cloak, and the humidity of summer thickens with a heavy thud in my gut, and a screech that scratches my skin as badly as my ears. You never wanted to free the Strix at all, did you? You just wanted to command them yourself, I accuse. Not bad. Now let go of Steph. Stephanie's body laughs, but it's not her laugh. Listen to me. You walk away with that body, and I will hunt you down and claw you out of her one blood vessel at a time. Stephanie's eyes fix on me as she stands unnaturally straight, like a puppet overcompensating to appear real. Even with the new hair lip left over from Sidra's embrace, the mouth extends into a smile.
Ah, yes. That's much better. I like this body. So many secrets rattling around in her head like a pit of vipers coiling in mid-coitus. Where are my manners? I owe you a gift. Would you like your fortune read? When the dust of sunlit vampires clear, you may end up coming out on top. Ozymandias was, after all, still a king. Good luck, suckling.
She cackles and takes flight over the line of parked cars until Stephanie's body and the darkness are inseparable. I failed her again. At least in this way, Stephanie gets what she always wanted. The chance to kill more vampires. I'll get her back. I turn to Sidra. Where's Kadir's headquarters?
How many times are you gonna walk into that woman's traps?
Murray asks.
Let's just run, Devon. Cut our losses.
We need to know what they did to her. I need to see this through. We walk the streets because, for the first time, Sidra doesn't trust the shadows. We lurk toward the massive glass building that overlooks the pit. Must be connected by tunnels underneath. The entire street, in spite of the chaos maybe an hour ago, is uncharacteristically dark and quiet. Panicking kindred must have fled far, or been silenced quickly.
Devon,
Murray touches my shoulder.
there are two outcomes to this. Either Kadir is gone, and another covenant's gonna take her place, and they'll most likely purge or banish any cronies. Or, worst case, she's fine, and we get staked like a circus tent.
Then I say the best case scenario, Murray, is we go down together. The lobby's completely empty, and completely dark, save for the exit signs. It's the kind of quiet where you become overly aware of your own footsteps. The kind of quiet just before the title card plays during a horror movie preview. The kind of quiet where you want an excuse to hit someone just to break the tension. Or maybe that's just me. After tonight, I can't be sure I'm on sure footing anymore. Doesn't help the ambiance that every door is just slightly ajar. Reluctantly, we take the stairs. Sidra reaches the top of the concrete stairway first, and lights the door with her phone. Murray and I nod, and she opens the door slowly. Long, empty hallway. Totally featureless. I bump into Sidra, and she says she's sorry, but from her tone I know she doesn't mean from the shove. I don't even get the chance to ask what she's sorry for. The light on her phone goes out, and something pulls both my feet out from under me. I hear Murray yelp as my face slams the linoleum, and I'm dragged backward down the hallway in one swipe. My hand scratches at the floor, swipes wide, catches nothing. Something sharp catches me just under the ribcage, stopping my momentum, jolting me to a sudden stop like a crash test dummy. I twist to my back, just long enough to hear the smack of something against my face. I wake up, or rather, become aware of my surroundings. My arms feel heavy. My feet are still stuck. Something brushes against my face. I pull it back and there's a tug on my scalp. Fuck, I'm underwater. I wave my arms as high as they go. Totally underwater. Warm water though. Salty. Why are vampires such fucking sadists? I am so pissed. I've lost my ghoul and ruined my phone in one night. Movement in the water. Of course there's something in the tank with me. I feel ripples in the water against the back of my calves, around my right side. My shirt's flopping against my eyes, and I rip it, realizing it's trying to sink. I'm upside down? Who fucking does this? I turn in time to duck as a moray eel snaps its jaws where my face used to be. I hear the impact of its jaws as it turns quickly on itself. My free hand smacks its tail in front of its own face. Gotta put those jaws to good use. I can't move my legs, so I crouch fast, upward, and I wait for Snappy to come back around. I get a short tug, chains at my feet, anchoring me to the ceiling. Okay, I can work with chains. The eel snaps, latching onto my shoulder suddenly. Then it starts spinning. Just a solid tube of muscle, torquing a bear trap filled with 2-inch teeth. And I just go along for the ride. I swing for its eyes, claws out. He lets go when I strike out, albeit with a chunk of my shoulder. The water gets dark and cloudy real fast as Snappy makes a long circle inside the tank. I just need to be fast one more time. Here's hoping I still have enough blood to pull it off. Or pull him off. Snappy comes in fast, a murky instant through the cloud of my own blood. I grab him and we twist and spin together like Beowulf and Grendel's mother, the monster, and the bastard crazy enough to take a bite out of him. Finally, I pull him up, and Snappy's jaws close around the chain at my foot. I hold his mouth shut as he spins again out of instinct, rending what he thinks is my foot. Chain snaps with a muted creak, and I cling to Snappy, directing him to the front of the glass. When I kick off against the back wall, his skull makes a muggy squash noise, but I still hear something crack. Snappy goes limp, but I keep using him to pound against the glass. The lights around my prison flickers, and a creak tells me that a door has been opened above me. With my good arm, I ooze out of my prison and birth myself onto the unforgiving concrete floor. I vomit salt water, only thing that tastes half as bad as the Strix I had in there earlier, and bring myself to my knees. Fuck if I'm gonna die on my back after everything I've been through. My eyes blink away the stinging of the salt, and I see the tribunal before me. Off to one corner, Murray's tied off to the side. He's got 3 pieces of rebar wedged to keep his mouth open, and the back of it bent around to stab him in the face. The Wolf Slayer himself, looking worse for wear, stands alongside... Shit, I think that's Dr. Nick. And they flank Kadir. The Prince herself is in a crisp but stained Victorian button-up. A few more figures linger and shift in the background, but with the light in my eyes, I can't shift out more than shimmering shapes. The lights come on in the room itself, greasy sconces and dim Edison-style halogen bulbs. The wall is lined with trophies. Hunting trophies. Skull trophies. You see, here's the deal. To keep the world at large ignorant, a lot of things that go bump in the night, yours truly included, don't leave much evidence after their death. Vampires simply melt away or flake into ash. Fairies keep their fake faces attached, even after their heart stops. Wolves go back to looking human. The fact that she has multiple werewolf skulls tells me that she didn't decapitate them before or after they died. Whoever scalped the cast of Wolf's Rain on the shelf held them down and peeled back the living layers, separating fur from bone, and removed their skulls before they died. Behind Kadir is a wide stone pillar topped with a sandstone ball, I want to say. The whole of it is covered in deep claw marks and motifs of ravens or crows, or who the fuck knows the difference. Kadir speaks in that husky Middle Eastern language, and I hear Dr. Nick translating. The accusations begin. She says I was not loyal to the prince and shewed my responsibilities to the previous court. She accuses me of outrunning a blood hunt and interrupting the mandated pit fights. That by saving Murray, I unleashed the Malkov stain back onto the city. That I aligned myself with the greatest enemy our species has and unleashed it, causing a breach in the masquerade, which ended in a hunter being embraced, possessed, and running off with an artifact powerful enough to bring the kindred of the city to its knees. Now, I call that pretty damn productive, personally. Then Dr. Nick says something about my hair, clearly throwing that in for himself. Sidra missed that taxi I stole, I cough, trying to focus through the pain of my leaking shoulder to muster some majesty. Maybe hit Dr. Nick with it, stir up some immediate confusion. Kadir stands and circles behind the stone altar. The sandstone bowl on top is big enough to bleed out an entire person. I guess that's where most of me is gonna end up. Kadir turns her solid blood-red eyes to me. She mumbles some more, and Dr. Nick keeps translating.
It's not just the path she views as well, but also the future. The prince says that arrows of glittering silver will rain from the sky. She says that webs beneath the city will collapse and constrict, and a wall will become a bridge. She says red thorns will grow beyond their doors, and not even dreams will be safe from the bite of the frost giants. She says that a living man wanders the land of the dead, gathering an alliance of creatures never before seen, never known to death, and death cannot kill them. Does it say anything about cats and dogs living together in perfect harmony? No? Well, have fun with that, I mutter. Then let me ask you, Dr. Nick says, joining Kadir behind the stone altar. Is it nobler for a serpent to die with his legs in the air, on his knees, or on his feet? I don't suppose I get a lifeline, do I? I'd like to call a friend. I'm gonna be direct. Look around the room. We're not offering you the dignity of final death.
Wait, what?
Do you want the job or not?
Between the bars of dusty rebar in his mouth, I hear Murray chuckle. I join him. I try to stand, wiping the moray eel gunk from my fingernails. Then you came to the right man. 'Cause I don't know whether you know or not, but I'm always gonna come out on top.
Be Kind to Your Neighbors is part of the Chroniclers of Darkness. It is written by Uncle Yo and produced by Jimmy Lin. Original music produced by Jimmy Lin. Excerpts from the album Hexed used with permission from Anders Manga. Special thanks, as always, to White Wolf Publishing and Onyx Path Publishing for giving us a whole new world of darkness in which to manifest. Comments, questions, blood dolls for rent? Leave a like, repost, or bloody handprint from the last intern we sent to the Lancea Sanctum on our Facebook page at facebook.com/Uncle Yo. This podcast is supported by patrons like you at patreon.com/Uncle Yo. Game on, include everyone, and remember that death is damned near optional. Catch you next week.